Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us in today's webinar. I'm really, really glad to be part again of Limitless Power Coaches new season. I do remember that in the first season, I shared a primer about the basics of personal branding. So this time in this new season, I'll be sharing with you the common mistakes when one builds his or her personal brand. Again, my name is Jennette Cajucom, and welcome to this webinar. So I guess let's share. Uh, Let me share my slides with you. Okay, hold on. Okay, I hope everybody has had his or her breakfast na. Okay, let me. Okay, okay. So yeah, as promoted in the past weeks, the title of the webinar for today is the common mistakes when building one's personal brand. What we'll be talking about today are the common mistakes because to most people, the concept of personal branding is still pretty new to them. So basically, only the common ones will be discussed, especially to those who are just starting out or who are just new to the concept of personal branding. But I guess if you're attending this webinar today and you haven't had the chance um, to attend the previous webinar when I did the primer, I guess just briefly before we go into the common pitfalls or mistakes, I just want to briefly discuss what personal branding is. Basically, the concept of personal branding is not new. As a matter of fact, it has been introduced by an expert named Tom Peters back in the late 90s. I think that was back in 1997, if I'm not mistaken, and that was when he wrote an article for Fast Company. You can check out fastcompany.com. And the title of that article that he wrote was A Brand Called You. So, in a nutshell, he shares in that article that by default, all of us have a personal brand, whether we've made a conscious effort to build it or not, meaning you who's watching right now have a me incorporated. I have a me incorporated. The CEO of Limitless Power Coach has her own me incorporated. Even even the individual members of her team has his her own me incorporated, and that in order for us to thrive, we have to be the head marketer for the brand called you. Okay. And I guess just to briefly describe what personal branding is, generally it's like it's the concurrence between people's people's perception and impression of you, and um, how you would want to be perceived. Because I mean, in most cases, how we would want to be perceived is not always how people perceive us. So if there is the concurrence there, the common denominator, then that is your personal brand. But then let me just I guess if you have already attended the primer before, let this serve as a refresher or a review. So briefly, let me just share that the common what really makes up our personal brand, since this is our brand, not the brand. If you're a business owner, don't mistake it as the brand of your company or the brand of your product. Okay. So since this is your brand, it's not just what makes up your personal brand is not just your skills, not just your work experience, not just the certifications and licenses that you receive, not just your achievements or awards or recognitions, but it's also made up of your passion, your personality, your core values, and belief system. So having that insight, um, that should uh, that should give us an idea that we are we should also capitalize on those elements, and not just be known for our skills and our achievements. Okay, okay. So moving forward, let me go to my slides now. So again, welcome to Common Mistakes when Building One's Personal Brand. So first, the first common mistake that people commit when building their personal brand, especially when they start doing it online, given that there are tons of free platforms. I mean, social media alone, there's a number of platforms that are free on social media. So this is the common pitfall that they fall into, starting with the logo. Why? For one, um, please keep in mind that personal branding is a journey. And one of the process involved in this journey is really finding the time to reflect and introspect, to find the clarity on who you are. So uh, if you haven't found that clarity, when we say clarity, because ultimately what you'd be able to learn in your personal brand, and I hope after this, if you haven't watched the primer, I hope you check it out in Limitless's YouTube channel, so that you have more idea. Um, what happens is, so going back, one, when you don't take the time to find your clarity, meaning if you don't take the time to know your core values, your passion, your personality. I'm not going to mention skills anymore, but ultimately, what's that problem that you think you have the gift to solve for a specific type of people? If you don't find the answer to that and immediately start with the logo, you might just in the long run end up confusing your target audience once you've decided to find the clarity in the middle part of your journey. So I guess to simplify it, pag nag-umpisa ka kaagad sa logo dahil sa sobrang excitement mo, and then dun mo marirealize that for some reason the audience that you want to target does not resonate with your logo, and then that's the time that you realize na you have to revisit your personal brand, so you will end up just changing your logo. So that might affect your goals for whatever reason why you're building your personal brand, because as a consequence, it it will confuse your target audience, because while the actual while the actual process of making a logo does involve creativity, meaning whatever icon you want your logo, whatever icon that you want to be included in your logo, and also the colors, bear in mind that your logo is a representation of who you are, is a representation, just a representation of what your personal brand is made of. So, meaning it should reflect um, your core values and what you, well, your passion and the problem that you can solve. So, dapat mag-reflect yun sa logo. So, that's the reason why I want you to avoid that mistake of immediately starting with the logo. Okay? Hope we're clear so far. Okay, that's yeah, that's pretty basic. So next, targeting too wide of an audience. How do I say this? For those who are attending this, watching this webinar, if you're into marketing or have your own business, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the the adage that when you're marketing to everyone, you're marketing to no one. And we all know that branding and marketing, they go hand in hand, right? So, kung ganun sa marketing, dapat ganun din sa branding. Why? Because it benefits you and your target audience because um, in the long run, you don't want to be perceived as someone who serves everybody. Paano ba sasabihin? Siguro sa ating Pilipino, ano na, ayaw natin maging generic kung for every all tayo, 'di ba? So, so that's it. You try to you can avoid this mistake by refining who your target audience is, meaning don't just stick to the superficial demographics, meaning don't just create your buyer persona based on their age, their gender, and location. Because if you think about it, that doesn't, I mean, those types of information don't really tell much if you were to align it to the problem that you want to solve. So instead, further refine it by digging into their psychographics. What meaning what what are their interests? What are their habits? What's their lifestyle? And most importantly, what are their pain points? What are their pain points that your brand can solve? Okay. So, yep. Yep, that's pretty much it. So, guess just to summarize it, don't stick to the demographics, dig deeper and go into the psychographics. Okay? So, moving forward here. This may not be common, but I had to include it because since um, outsourcing outsourcing tasks or processes related to branding is pretty much predominant. So what do I mean by having too many people involved? You see, there are cases when entrepreneurs would hire when they want when they decide to put their um, their personal brand out there, what they would immediately do, because the since the immediate their immediate concept of personal brand is just really more of a digital footprint without the process of introspection, reflection. What they would often do is they would immediately hire logo designers, graphic designers, web web developers. So may team yan. And these people, although they have the skills, they don't know they don't know the person who wants to build his or her personal brand personally. Okay, so they just end up carrying out the instructions kasi they don't know them personally. Tapos, imagine, they don't know them personally na, tapos ang dami pa nilang involved. So I guess to further clarify this, ang ang ginagawa dapat nating ang kinukuha dapat nating mga tao rather na involve in our in crafting our personal brand at the onset are the people who truly know us. So kasi 'di ba, going back to my point earlier, your personal brand is more than just your skills, 'di ba? It's also made up of your personality, your core values, what you're passionate about. And these are not known by the people that you hire, by the people that you've just met. These are usually known by the people who are close to you, by the people that you trust. So that being said, if you think about it, the people that you trust are also called your gatekeepers. Okay, because they are the ones who can say na, example lang, um, let's say somebody does a logo, and then the one who did that logo does not personally know the business owner that well. So the person who trusts, the person who knows that person, yung nagbibuild ng personal brand, can say na, no, that's not him, that's not her. I don't think that's not representative of him or her. That logo does not resonate. So you get what I'm saying. So I guess consider consider involving only a few people, and only those you trust and who know you really well. Okay, so yep, that's it. So moving forward here, this is this is this was a mistake that I committed before. So focusing more on achievements, and it's, I guess, a natural behavior or a natural decision when one starts to build his or her personal brand, especially online, because more often than not, the default concern is the competition. So nandyan kasi yung we have to stand out. We have to stand out. We have to be better than the competition so that we get noticed. That's the mindset. That's the mindset involved. But if you think about it, there will always be somebody better than us. And if the goal is to stand out, again, if you were to reflect on it, if you want to get attention, that does not really guarantee conversion in the long run. So again, when we say conversion, it means that you end up getting a paying client, whether you're selling a product or a service, right? So there. So rather than focus only on achievements, or rather than focus more on achievements, um, focus also on what will uh, what will earn you the trust of the trust of the audience that you want to connect to, because between attention and trust would eventually lead to conversion, meaning turning a stranger into a client, a paying client. So if you were to apply this in real life, so aside from focusing more on your achievements, um, bring out as well your core values bring out your personality. And one of the reasons why I continuously encourage people to do this, it's because I believe in the saying that we attract we attract who we are, right? We attract who we are, and in the long run, um, you'd be happier working with people with the same core values, with the same personality as you are, di ba? Parang mas masayang katrabaho rin yung mga ganon. It, if you think about it, by avoiding this mistake, parang you get to be relieved of the stress somehow of having to deal with with people who don't resonate with your core values, or whose personality you don't jive with. um so yon, so to sum it up, uh rather than focusing more on achievements, focus focus on what makes up your personal brand, that that can earn you trust, because trust is the more important currency that would lead eventually to conversion. Okay. Okay, next here. Ako, mukhang mapapaaga tayo. So next is not having a personal brand story. Okay? So, we have this, ano, di ba? When we decide to create our personal brand online, we create profiles on social media, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, while we may probably have, especially on Instagram, while we may have uh, very, visual images, um, beautiful images that represent our personal brand, uh, people might need to know you more. I guess to stress the importance of this, I go back to the time when we were kids, when we were introduced the concept of show and tell, right? So I don't know, because back in the day, when I was in grade school, um, my teacher once asked us to bring our favorite pet and, you know, show it in class. So the reason for having such an activity is for us to know the difference between show and tell. And showing is where you tell a story. And if we are to apply this in our personal brand, I guess is telling is simply saying, siguro nililista mo lang yung yung core values mo. Let's say yung core values mo, nilagay mo family oriented ka, you believe in innovation, whatever, um you also environment ka, nagaano ka sa environment, you also believe in diversity, whatever. So these things, so parang that doesn't, parang hindi walang storya, nilista mo lang, so you're just merely telling. But if you share a story as to if you share a story that makes your target audience understand the space where you're coming from, I mean, what how you were molded to believe in those core values eventually, then you'd be able to connect to them more, and rather than listing them in bullet points. And the same, I guess, also applies when, kasi di ba masanay tayo na i-showcase yung skills and achievements natin. So rather than come up with a long list of our skills, our awards and recognition, try to weave it into a story, because one thing that we should also be reminded of is that the more we become digital, the more that we need to be human. And we know for a fact that, it's too good to be true when we present a profile or a personal brand that's all about achievements, na parang masyadong perfect, na parang naging successful agad. So, ikwento naman natin what led to that success. What, what um what mistakes we have encountered in the past before we were able to achieve that success, because that makes us more authentic. Kasi alam naman natin na, I mean, mistakes and failures lead to success. I mean, it's impossible to have success if there are no mistakes or failures. So capitalize on that story. Again, it's also because if you want to earn the trust, if you want your personal brand to earn the trust of your target audience, it is best that they understand the space where you're coming from, where your personal brand is coming from. Okay? So, let me just let me just check if there are questions ba. Okay. Okay. So, moving forward, so I hope that's clear. So please, 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 capitalize on your story. And yeah, you'll be surprised because, especially while you want to focus on your target audience, because sila naman talaga yung what will help our businesses in the long run, as far as our personal brand is concerned. It You get to hit two birds with one stone here. It will also um, make you differentiate from your competitors who are just merely telling and not showing through storytelling. Okay. And yep. So yeah, those are the common pitfalls. So I guess if yon napaaga tayo ng tapos. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. So I guess siguro lang just to sum it up, since we still have time again. So common mistakes again, starting with the logo, okay? So never ever start with the logo. Take the time to really know yourself, not just your skills, but your core values. Ano yung kwento mo talaga? And what's the problem that you ultimately want to solve for people? And then targeting too wide of an audience, niche down mo. Because as far as the market is concerned, if it were to be represented by a pie, ang laki-laki-laki ng pie. So everyone can actually have a share of it. So niche down. Know your target audience on a deeper level. Know what their challenges are. Know what their pain points are. Okay, and then having too many people involved. So again, um, don't get too many experts. Focus first on those who really know you and those you really trust. Okay, and then focusing more on achievement. So, alaman natin yon. So, capitalize on your core values, okay? On your personality, and yon, not having a personal brand story. Again, your goal is to connect. So, take time. Because since ano naman you'll be going through that process of introspecting, of reflecting, of finding that clarity. So i-share mo naman yung clarity na yon sa target audience mo para maintindihan ka. Okay? And yep, uh, that's it. And then if let's say you want to take it further, you want to know more about the process, at least the basics, I also give free coaching calls, free discovery calls for those who want to start building their personal brand. I think I have yet to find out if there's still slots for July, but rest assured I'll be opening um, more slots next month, August. And yeah, just so you know, in case you you want to know the importance of building a personal brand story, you can also check out my my podcast, Your Brand, Your Story. So yeah, so there, I guess briefly, since this is part of the process of this webinar, just in case you want to know more about me, I am a CEO, branding strategist. I've been doing digital marketing for the long run. But since then, I realized that a lot of business owners also need clarity, because a lot of, a lot of who they are, because I believe that your business is an expression of who you are if you're a business owner. So, which is why I encourage a lot of business owners to really capitalize on building their personal brand. I mean, a lot of big names are already doing it and they know the benefits of it. That's why they're doing it. There's Jeff Bezos, there's Richard Branson, there's Oprah Winfrey. The list can go on and on. And yeah, so that's it. That's what I pretty much do. And I'm also part of Marketing in Asia. You can check out marketinginasia.com. And yeah, I've been in a couple of TEDx events. And yeah, like I said, I'm also into podcasting. We're kicking off season 4 soon. And in that podcast, Your Brand, Your Story, we share, that's why the tagline is stories of humanness and authenticity, because the people that I invite to be part of the podcast, meaning my guests, are they don't just share their successes and their achievements, but they also share their humble beginnings, the mistakes they have encountered, the lessons they've learned in their journey, so that other people may also learn from it. Because I believe that what our mistakes in the past can actually serve as a survival guide for other people. And that's that's a really good way of giving value. And then, okay, so just so you know, I have an upcoming book. It's called Craft Your Personal Brand Story. And at this stage, I am giving the first chapter for free to help people find more clarity, so that they can ultimately know their passion, what problem they can really solve for people. So that covers the first chapter. I call it a workshop in a book because it involves worksheets, so that I guess reading alone doesn't wouldn't be enough to to find clarity. So it includes the application part, which are the worksheets. So yeah, if you want to connect with me, you can reach me through the following channels and email addresses. So for coaching and consultation, if in case you don't find any slots, since my booking link is on my Facebook page, but if in case you don't find any slots, na ubusan na kayo ng slots, you can email me at freeConsult@jencahucom.asia. And yeah, for collaborations and partnership, that's my email address there. And you can download again the free book chapter that I just mentioned through my website at jencahucom.asia. And then you can, yeah, we can connect on LinkedIn. You can look me up, Jennette Cajucom, on LinkedIn. And then my other social media accounts are on your screen. Okay, so that's it. I do really hope you take the time. And in case you have already started building your personal brand, you might need to revisit it, para para hindi na lumaki pa yung problema nyo. Try to revisit it if in case, 'di ba? And ask yourself if you're committing these mistake, para to save you some hassle in the future. Okay? So, yep, that's it. I hope I was I was able to give value to you today. And so thank you so much for joining us this morning. I hope. Okay, so I just I was just told na meron daw questions sa Zoom. Sorry, ang dalawa kasing screen eh. So let me go through them right now. Okay, yeah. Thank you so much, X. Yeah. All the best. Keep safe. So let me okay. Kisabel Victorino, yeah. Do you have any suggestions po kung paano po at saan po kaya kami magandang mag-start para makakreate po ng personal brand? Okay. Here's the here's the rule of thumb. Kasi since we are now enjoying the perks of technology, here's the rule of thumb. Content first, and then tools second. So meaning tools, huwag nyo na muna intindihin yung mga tools and platforms online. Okay? I suggest if it would be of any help, and it's the reason why I created a very, very simple book. You might want to not because I want to promote, but because I've received feedback that the free chapter that I've given out have helped them start finding their own clarity. Try to download the free chapter from my website because it includes a worksheet, and the worksheet would help you find clarity because it asks you to list down. It lists down and further filter. Kumbaga, ililist down mo muna lahat. And then from there, do sa nilist down mo, if filter mo kung ano lang yung gusto mo itira. So that activity might help you find clarity. So so check it out. Okay? And then from Elaine Vincent Gapus, regarding personal brand story, is there a difference po with sharing a story than telling a story? It's pretty much the same thing as because the intention the intention pretty much of uh ano siguro magkakaiba lang sila sa intention kasi uh, one of the reasons why I encourage people who already have a personal brand but do not have a personal brand story is para mas maintindihan sila ng target audience nila. So if both telling and sharing have the same intention for your personal brand to be understood, yeah, then they're the same. Okay? And ayun, thank you. Yeah, do feel free to connect with me, Kisabel. If you know, if you need more guidance after downloading the free chapter, and I'd be glad to help you. I'd be honored to be part of your journey. Okay, so that's it. So yeah, I guess I just would like to thank you all for joining us, and I hope you're able to get some valuable takeaways that you can use on your own personal brand. And I'm thankful again to Limitless Power Coach for making this platform available, for making this opportunity available for people who would like to help, people. I mean, for helping both speakers and the audience to, to to share and learn. So I'm really happy that you started a new season. I'm really happy that you're continuing this to give value to more people. So thank you so much to Limitless Power Coach. So yeah, just a heads up, if here ganito, siguro para to provide more clarity. And the reason why I'm saying this because you might be watching this but you have yet to watch the primer. that I did during the first season of Limitless Power Coach. Because the primer talks about the personal branding basics, which I've somehow touched on this session. So I said, kasi I'm saying this kasi magkakaroon tayo ng paid webinar on August 18, and the title of the webinar is How to Frame Your Personal Brand Story, right? And make it powerful to attract clients. Okay? So this is very important. So I suggest that you watch the primer first, and then ito napanood nyo na, or if you want pwede nyo panoorin ulit since it will be available on YouTube. And then from there, assess yourself if there really is a need for you to craft your personal brand story. I mean, I've already mentioned the importance of it, of having a personal brand story, because it really really helps you connect to your target audience even before your target audience has interacted with you, and that's very powerful. So this paid webinar that will happen on August 18 will actually help you frame your story the right way in order to attract your target audience. Why? Why? Okay, sige. We may know how to tell our story, but we may be missing that part on how to make our brand story resonate with our target audience. Because I've done research on this, and I've observed that a lot of people are only used um to two types of, two ways of storytelling. First is based on the timeline, meaning the way they tell their story is mula nung bata sila hanggang sa nung tumanda sila, hanggang sa nag-asawa sila, hanggang sa puro ganon, based on the timeline lang. And if you think about it, what are the chances that it will resonate to your target audience if it's all about you? And this framework teaches you how you can involve your target audience. And then next, another way, uh, yung rags to riches na story. Well, it's good. It can still be effective. But usually, the rags to riches story is simply based on, the intention is to, parang ang nagiging intention, ang nagiging impression is parang ang pinopromote yung lifestyle. You have to ask yourself, am I just about my lifestyle? Because if not, then you might need a better framework to tell your personal brand story. So, yep. If this is something that will help you, if this is something that would be of interest to you, join us on August 18, because once you nail that story on how to write it, you can repurpose it over and over again. You can repurpose it as an episode on the podcast. If you want to join the podcast bandwagon, you can turn it into a vlog. Kumbaga, magiging cheat sheet mo na siya eh. You can use that content and turn it into a vlog, and you can even put it on your social media platform. You can distribute it as an article on high ranking sites. um, and you can even use it as your content when if someday you want to tell your story on stage, because for one dapat consistent, kumbaga one story pwede mong i-repurpose sa maraming channels, both offline and online, and pag ganon mas magiging memorable ka sa tao. Okay, so yep. That's it. Thank you. Thank you. Ang dami thank you. Thank you. Thank you again. Ako ang thank you sa inyo for joining us today. And I do really hope I get to read, watch, listen to your story one of these days. It would really be an awesome experience to know you through your story. So that's it. So keep safe. God bless everyone. So till our next.